Hi, and welcome to today's episode of Chronicles of a Female Engineer. I hope that you've been enjoying this series. If you have been liking what you see, please go ahead and make sure you subscribe. And also, I'd love to see your comments and any questions that you have after each of these videos. So go ahead and like and comment. Today's episode is going to be following on from last week's episode on how to leverage your skills and ensure that you lock down your graduate job. So today we're going to be really talking about the interview and those tricky questions that can be asked in an engineering interview that can trip some of us up. So trying to demystify what all those questions mean and how best you can be prepared to answer them. So the first question we're going to cover is, tell us about a time where you've had to manage conflicting priorities. Now, this may seem a bit untoward at first, but you've got this. You've got this. You may think back to a time during university when you had to complete some assignments. You had multiple deadlines from all your subjects, all due around the same time. So, a bad way to answer this question would be to say, I usually just do all-nighters the night before. We've all been there. A better way to answer this is really to just demonstrate that you are able to assess your deadlines and priorities, understand when they're due, and actually reverse engineer where you need to place your work and to block out time effectively so you can complete it. This demonstrates that you've got the ability to handle multiple priorities. You've got the ability to self-manage and deliver on the deadlines accordingly, and also to represent that you are able to ask for support and additional resources if you need it once there's too many things on that plate. So this is a good question for you to demonstrate that you've got this right under control. Now, the next one we're going to talk about is, tell us about your weaknesses. Now, this one, a lot of people have different ideas about what this one can mean. Other people would say, oh, I've got no weaknesses, or they might try and fashion something which is really a strength and make it seem like a weakness, and it doesn't come off as authentic. So a better way to answer this one is to actually use a situation that's real. What they're looking for here is to say, are you someone who just wants to blame and remain, blame everything else that's external to you, or do you actually acknowledge and address things that may need improvement? So really a good example of this could be if you know that communication is not your strong point, you've identified that you need to demonstrate and show your ideas, communicate your ideas more effectively so people are able to understand and take that on. And what you've identified is you get quite shy and you prefer to steer away from these situations. So you've actually been taking some public speaking classes, or you've taken an additional course in your own time to address this, and you're starting to see some results. So that demonstrates that you actually have acknowledged a shortfall or weakness, and you are doing something about it because you understand the benefit and value that can come from that. Our next question that hiring managers like to ask is, why should we hire you? Now, you need to remember that your hiring manager and the people in the room have likely already read your resume. They've likely already read your cover letter. So it's not really about rehashing everything in there. You want to demonstrate that essentially they're asking, what's in it for us? What's in it for us to get you here? So you need to now sell yourself. What skills do you bring to the table, particularly answering those responsibilities and requirements that were in their advertisement for this role? So you can talk about your flexibility, you can talk about your past experience that lends itself well to the current requirements of this role. You can talk about your adaptability and your resilience, ability to thrive in new situations, willingness to learn, and also how much value you bring. Have you had anything that you've demonstrated in the past that you've been able to bring time and time again? If you can demonstrate that pattern in that interview, that's also going to sound appealing to the company. So you're really looking to ask yourself what is in it for them, but also from a perspective of you are going to be bringing the value. You are going to be allowing them to achieve their business objectives. You are going to be contributing to the culture and environment that is present in their in their company. And you can actually also be a bit innovative or creative, if you like, here, and talk about what you've brought to past organizations that you found you are able to recreate. So let's say you, what's a good idea? Maybe you love baking and you always found that it brings teams together when you do your Friday bake off, So even that brings a nice personal touch. And who doesn't like cookies? Okay, our next question is, tell us about a time when you have had to deal with difficult people. So again, this is really trying to understand, what type of person are you? Are you courageous and bold, or do you like to sweep things under the carpet, or perhaps gossip about them and be unhelpful? So it's really a check of, what are your leadership skills? How does your emotional intelligence play out in situations? And do you address them quickly, or can you potentially let them fester and become unhealthy? So a good way to talk about this is to also refer to some situations that you've had to deal with in real life. Recall that your projects during university, maybe your final year project, when you've had to deal with team members which are potentially not cooperative. This can be a good way to essentially just talk to them and talk to that situation and how you dealt with it, what actions you specifically took to address this and to deal with people that are negative. And this can really showcase how you approach situations, how you seek additional support and mentoring, and how you liaise and engage with your peers and also with managers, if potentially the managers have been the difficult ones, right? So think about how you answer these questions. You can even be as bold as to say, I used to, lash out and respond very quickly, but I found that I can come across, incorrectly, or it's not, things can be a little bit below the line. You can use some sort of terminology. But if you say, I like to now instead take some time to process what's happened, understand how it could have been done better, and then try and pull that person aside and discuss that situation or that event. That really demonstrates that you've thought that through. You understand how you respond to situations and what's worked well in the past and what hasn't. Okay, now the last one is, why our company? Why do you want to work with us? So this one is really a check about, have you researched this company, and do you understand what their strategic priorities are, what they are all about, essentially? And so this is your opportunity to really talk about how this company's values and their innovative approach, their D&I skills, the awards that they've won recently, really speak to you. And you want to talk about your alignment with that, right? How you will be fulfilled because of the nature of the work, how you believe that you will be a great addition to them, and why they actually mean something to you. So really, you'll see this these days. People aren't just looking for jobs to earn a means to an end. People really want meaningful work. They really want something that starts the day with a sense of purpose and finishes it with that sense of satisfaction. And so this is your opportunity to let that company know that you believe that working with them will allow you to fulfill that aspect of your career desires. You sense that you can grow with them, and you believe that this opportunity will really allow you to stretch yourself and to contribute in a way that's value adding. Now, remember, it's okay to stop and think a little bit during your resume, during interviews. It's not anticipated that you know every single answer. So take some time to stop and think about the situation. Stop and think about exactly that process we spoke about, the situation. What was the task or that you had to action, or what is the task that was at hand? What is the action that you took, and what is the result of that event in the end? So take some time to really think that through, so you can demonstrate what actions you took and how you saw yourself through it. And again, also be able to follow up if you feel that the interview didn't go as well as you liked, or something didn't land, or you think about something after a couple of days after the interview. Take some time to send an email through to the hiring manager and just say, hi, thank you for that opportunity for the interview that I had the last few days. I really just want to reiterate how keen I am on this role. And if this didn't come across fully, I want to just reiterate that XYZ, This is what I really appreciate about it and what I believe I can bring to the role. So that you keep yourself front in mind of that hiring manager or the recruitment team, and you can get another way in. Okay, well, I hope that you found all of this helpful. Feel free to continue to like and subscribe and put any comments down below to let me know what you want the next videos to be. And I will definitely seek to respond to everything that you ask and make the next episode as exciting and better and better. Okay, I hope to see you on the next episode of Chronicles of a Female Engineer.